Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Aaron Touchstone. This is Garage Talk, where I am basically building out sports cars or supercars to the spec that we want. We're going to be talking cars throughout this whole thing, and then we're also going to compare performance of these cars and just see what we're up against. See if it's worth the money, see if it's not worth the money, why is it worth the money. But we're going to get right into it. We're going to be building the C8Z06. If you're new here, I make content all the time. I make content about business, about cars, about sim racing like iRacing, and like golf and just random things. So if you're into those types of things, consider subscribing. We're trying to buy a sports car at the end of the year with the money that we make off of social media, and it definitely helps. So let's get right into the build. So starting the build and why the C8Z06 is such a good car. This car has 670 horsepower and goes 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. This is the best valued car that I think you can get if you're looking for performance. We have the packages here. We're going to select the 2LZ package. I'm not going to explain why. You can go and look at all of the packages. I just believe that you have to have the 2LZ option. Now, looking at the colors of this car, I want to talk about a car that I just saw. I went to Corvette the other day at night and was just about to get out of my car. This guy pulls up in a blacked out C8Z06 with the wing. And if you've seen this car in person, the blacked out version, it just looks like the Batmobile. It looks crazy. This spec right here, I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love it. It looks so good. We're not gonna build this spec because I feel like this is just relatively simple. And the problem that I have with black is it is kind of hard to take pictures of black cars because you can't see all the details. It's hard to just make it out in pictures. But man, this car, it blacked out, looks so sick in person. I think we're going to go with a gray color. We're going to keep it kind of simple. This is going to look really, really sporty, really aggressive is my kind of goal here. Something about the roof options that you have is I don't love the transparent roof panel. If we go back to the picture we were just at here, I don't love how it paints the pillar. So we're going to go to a carbon fiber panel. That does not paint the pillar, but also keeps our roof black. And I think this looks a lot better. I really, really love black roofs myself. So we're going to go with that. We have a couple of different wheel options here. But I actually really, with the gray color, I like the black rims on it. I think the black rims look just sick. I think they look good. They're a little harder to take pictures of. You can't get as much detail out of them. But at the end of the day, it just looks aggressive. I like it. Then we go to the brake calipers. I personally love red brake calipers. The bright red ones pop. They are bright for sure. I really like how bright they are, but I almost feel like it takes away from the car a little bit. So I think we're going to go edge red. Edge red is still red, but not as bright. I feel like you're like, oh, he has red brake calipers too, that's sick. But you're not going to look at the car and say, holy crap, his red brake calipers are as bright as the sun. So I think we're going to go with the edge red. I think it makes a little more sense. We have the center caps and carbon flash. That seems to already be on there. I don't want to pay an extra 250 bucks. I wonder how many people have built out a C8Z06 and paid for caps that are already on there. We have racing stripes. I don't think you should put racing stripes on a C8 unless you have the ZR1, then you're able to do so. Going into our interior options, we have a few options here. I think we are going to pick between the brown and gray. We're going to upgrade to the GT2 bucket seats. I have heard that that is a nice option. I feel like when you step into a car that has a brown interior like this, you just feel more, I don't know what the word is, luxurious, I guess is the easiest way of putting it. It just feels more luxury feeling. But also, the gray looks so clean. I think I would go with gray. Gray looks so clean. And getting into this car with almost the matching paint on the outside, I think this is worth it. We're going gray. Gray is the move. Then we have their seatbelt color. We're going to go ahead and select red. I think having red seatbelt colors would look very, very nice in this car. It may not look as clean as the black, but this would at least match our brake calipers, and I think it would be pretty sweet. So adding in the red, plus I'm a Georgia fan, so just having that little touch of red I think always helps. There's a couple of different options here. If I'm looking at C8s, no matter the spec, the trim, if it's base or whatever it may be, I think if you're looking at this car as a whole, in my personal opinion, C8s with a wing on them have a whole 1 point higher if you're rating them if they have the rear wing. I think it makes the car look incredibly better. Now, we're looking at a Z06 here, so we would be tracking this. So the Z07 performance package is getting added on. And we're also going to get the wing for that. So we're going to do that as well. And just have those added on there. I think that is going to look quite sick. And we're going to see the wing added on here in just a minute. There's a lot of different options that you can put onto this car. I don't really like most of them. I will say if you do want the rear wing for a lot cheaper, you can add one for $1,800 instead of, I think we just added on like a $20,000 option. As we continue to go down, a two-tone seat, I think it'd be really cool to have gray in the center and black on the outside. I would not want to sit on the black part of the seat. So we're not going to add that because I want a butt that is super hot. Then we have our engine specific plaque. Let's add that on there. That's a really cool addition. The engine lighting, see what makes this car purr. I think that would be really neat. Black exhaust tips is a nice little addition, make it look a little aggressive. And the only other option that I would add, yes, I've built this car a lot of times, is the front lift with memory. If you don't know what this is, let's say you pull out of your house every time you have a speed bump. You have to slow down, and if you don't lift your car, it's going to scrape. The front lift memory will automatically lift your car when you get up to the speed bump, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So very, very nice option there. Just convenient. And here we are with our final spec. I do really, really like this red. But man, this thing is sick. 1 through 10. If we're just talking about looks, honestly, this is kind of a dream car at this point. It's so fast. You're basically getting a Ferrari. I mean, I know people don't like to hear that, but performance-wise, look-wise, like, you're not getting anything faster than this without paying some stupid money. Like, nothing is really going to compete with this car at this price point. So rate this spec 1 through 10. What do you think? What could we have done differently? What would you have done differently? What is your favorite car on this, or favorite color on this car? But before we stop this episode here, I want to go through just how fast is the C8 and I don't think people realize how fast this car actually is. So I was looking at some of the Nürburgring times, and you can see here we have the C8 Corvette Z06 here, a 710. This car is ridiculous. This car is absolutely ridiculous. So we're gonna go a little bit faster than our car, and we're talking 5 seconds faster. Now I know that's a lot of time. This lap time is 7 minutes though, so keep that in mind. That's really not that too big of a difference. If we're looking at 5 seconds faster, we have the 991.2 GT3 RS. That is a $300,000 to $500,000 car at this point for 5 seconds faster. So we're talking, we could potentially buy 3 of these C8 Z06s and still have pretty much just the same performance. The AMG GTR Pro, that's $250,000. We have the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, $200,000 to probably $400,000. The McLaren 720S, when it was brand new, $400,000. You might be able to get one now for $250,000. 600 LT, $200,000 to $300,000. GT4 RS, $200,000 to $300,000. And then you have the Z06, base $120,000. If you make it fancy, our spec came out to a grand total of $159,000. That's crazy. Now let's go a little bit slower than the C8 Z06. AMG GTR, this is probably the car that is the closest in comparison to the Z06, and same sort of price point, but I'm pretty sure this costs $200,000 to get one right now for the GTR. Now we have the Dodge Viper ACR. That's a really cool car, but I'm telling you, I'm not buying this car over a C8. The Porsche Carrera GT. This car is absolutely insane. It gets a really bad rep, and I think it gets a bad rep because people don't understand how to drive the car, and it's really fast. And I think this car is a really good awakening point for people who don't know how to drive cars, because this is very manual, very analog, and I think people just don't understand how to drive as good as they think they do, and that's why it gets a bad rep. But here we are. So faster than the Carrera GT, faster than the 911 GT3, the 991.2 GT3. That car is 300,000. The Carrera GT sold for 5 million at Barrett Jackson last weekend, one of the cars. Then it's also faster than the 918 Spider. And this to me really blew my mind when I was looking at these results. $150,000 car. People do not consider this car a supercar sometimes. It's faster than the 918 Spider. The 918 Spider is a hyper car. You're not buying this thing for anything less than 2 to 3 million right now, at least. You're telling me that the Z06 is not a supercar? This is crazy. The M4 CSL, that is honestly, price comparison, this might be potentially the best bang for your buck. It's either this or the Z06. I don't know what the price point is here. 139,000. So from 139,000. Yeah, so this may be the only comparison to the Z06 is the CSL. Now, if you keep on going down a little bit, we have the LFA. It's beating the Aventador. Unbelievable. Aventador, Cayman GT4 RS, 911 Turbo S, 991.2. I mean, all the cars. And if you're even looking further, the replacement of the 458 Italia, the 488 GTB. Isn't that crazy? 488 GTB cost $200,000 to $300,000. Well-spec'd ones around $400,000. Now, obviously, if we could afford a 488, we'd probably buy it. Better road presence. It's a Ferrari. It looks better. You could argue, I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, does the 488 GTB look better than the Z06? That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting question. Does it actually look better than this C8? That's a 458, I feel like. That is not, I guess it is a 488. But is that car worth having two brand new Z06s? I don't even know if I like it better. Does the 488 look better than the Z06? I don't know. That's an interesting question for you guys if you want to answer. Yeah. So like looking at these cars, there's so many cars faster than the 812 super fast. Faster than the KTM Expo. Oh, that is not the car that I thought that was. I'm taking back what I just said. I thought that was the other KTM. Okay. That makes more sense. It's just faster than so many cars. So yeah, I would have to say that this is a dream car. I hope y'all enjoyed this first episode of Garage Talk. Literally just ranting about cars today was the goal. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment below with a car that you think I should build next, and just talk about it. What else should I talk about the car? Should I talk about Nürburgring times? Who knows? Let's just let me know down in the comments below what you would like me to talk about in these videos, and I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.